We had to bring our Remembrance Sunday service forward and kept it on Tuesday evening, but I still thought I would like to do something for the actual day. So I'm going to share with you the address I gave on Tuesday evening and lead a very short act of remembrance at the end. On Tuesday evening, I told the story of 3 boxes. I began with this one, which is usually known as Princess Mary's Christmas present. In 1914, Princess Mary thought that she would like to send a gift to everyone serving in uniform at Christmas. It's a very handsome tin, I'm sure you'll agree, because this is what was used to pack the gifts in. At the centre of it, there's a picture of the princess. Round the edge are the names of our allies. Right at the bottom is a dreadnought battleship to represent the Royal Navy, and at the top there's a sword and its scabbard to represent the army. I'm afraid pilots, those in the fledgling Air Force, didn't really get much of a look in at that point. This tin's still got a tremendous seal on it. This one's empty now, but originally it would have contained things like tobacco or chocolate. There would have been a Christmas card as well. Tremendous trouble was taken to make sure that everybody received an appropriate gift. For example, if you didn't smoke, you got chocolate. If you were a Sikh soldier from India, you'd have got a packet of spices inside. We know that almost 2.5 million of these tins were sent out. Most of them became treasured possessions. Sometimes people had them framed. Often they used them later to keep their medals in. We know of at least one occasion when one of these tins actually saved a life. Private Metcalfe of the Royal West Kent Regiment was saved from shrapnel entering into his body when the tin stopped it. The main thing is that this little tin showed all those in uniform that they weren't forgotten. And we still, when we meet at Remembrance Tide, show today that they're not forgotten. My second box is this casket here of English oak. 100 years ago, in 1920, a much larger box of English oak from the Palace of Hampton Court was used to bring back to England what we now know as the body of the unknown warrior, before he was laid to rest in Westminster Abbey on the 11th of November. The Reverend David Railton, a First World War Army padre, felt that the burial of a body of an unknown serviceman at the heart of a nation would ease the pain of father, mother, brother, sister, sweetheart, wife and friend, everyone who'd lost someone and knew not where he was buried. Westminster Abbey was very enthusiastic about the idea and was able to promote it successfully. We know a great deal of care was taken to select an unknown body. We refer to whoever it is who was buried in the Abbey as the unknown warrior, since he could be from any background and potentially from any one of the services. The body of the unknown warrior was treated with incredible respect. He was brought back on a battleship to England known as HMS Verdun, brought in a special train carriage to London, Victoria, and then carried on a gun carriage to Westminster Abbey. And there he was buried and lies to this day amongst all the kings and queens of England. All sorts of customs to show respect to the tomb of the unknown warrior have grown up. It's the one tomb in the Abbey on the floor which nobody ever walks on, and royal brides often leave their wedding bouquets on the tomb of the unknown warrior. When we think about this box, we remember the sacrifice and the cost of war. We remember all the fallen. My final box looks like this. This, as many of you will recognise, is a picture of a cenotaph in London. This is our national war memorial at the heart of London, our capital city. A cenotaph is basically an empty tomb for those whose remains are elsewhere. The Greeks used to erect cenotaphs for those killed in battle, but whose remains were never found. Our cenotaph does a great job of representing all those whose remains were never found or are buried overseas in one of the Commonwealth war cemeteries. As we're in church, I'd like to stress but an empty tomb can also be a symbol of hope. At the heart of the Christian faith is the belief that Christ not only made the supreme sacrifice on the cross, but that he also rose to new life and that his tomb was empty on Easter Day. An empty tomb is a sign of resurrection to Christian people. Our remembrance respects the living, honours the fallen, but it also needs to bring hope and to make us want to work for things to be better, a true resurrection of a better way of life. The London Cenotaph is situated in the middle of the London traffic. It's an inconvenient place for the traffic managers, but I like that because I think true remembrance ought to shake us up a bit and challenge us to take stock of where we are. I've talked about 3 things from the past. We all know that there are a lot of challenges at the moment and many frustrations. I encourage you all to have hope and to remember that the empty tomb shows that even the most terrible of situations can be turned around. I hope we can also be totally visionary about how we would like things to be, and that all of us can step out in faith and work for that brighter and better future. Let us remember before God and commend to his sure keeping those who have died for their country in war, those whom we knew and whose memory we treasure, and all who have lived and died in the service of mankind. They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.